Chapter 319. Crisis approaching. Really let them go. Not far away, that peak-out breathing stage powerhouse from the Great Diffusion sect looked at the back of Yuan, Lin and the others and frowned. There's a big opportunity this time. A few small fishes don't need to be heeded, Windlass said. His divine thoughts once again communicated with the formation and entered it. Although this peak-out breathing stage powerhouse of the Great Diffusion sect was doubtful, he didn't dare to object and immediately nodded his head. At this moment, somewhere high in the air of the eastern battlefield, a fierce battle erupted. It was a battle with extremely unequal numbers on both sides, with only 2 people on one side and dozens on the other. However, the result of the battle was shocking, as those 2 people beat the dozens of people senseless. Fighting fist of victory. Battle heaven and earth. A golden-colored giant ape roared up to the sky as he blasted out a fist with unparalleled power, directly blowing away a late-stage breath Devil Dao powerhouse. Dozens of Devil Dao disciples in the distance were appalled when they saw this scene. Invincible at the Yuaning stage, that Devil Dao powerhouse's face was filled with shock, yet before he could finish his sentence, a blazing blade came tearing through the void and slashed him in half. Too weak. Behind this blazing blade aura, a purple-clothed youth stepped into the air with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Yuaning stage, Great Circle, the demonic path powerhouse said intermittently as his eyes shrunk at the sight of this violet-clothed youth. Brother, you robbed my meat again. The golden-colored giant ape stepped forward and grunted in dissatisfaction. Those meats are yours. The violet-clothed youth smiled faintly and pointed at the dozens of Devil Dao disciples in the distance who were already stunned. Seeing the violet-clothed youth pointing, these Devil Dao disciples immediately had a sudden jolt in their hearts, a bad feeling rising in their hearts. Ha-he. The golden-colored giant ape smiled eerily as it rushed towards those Devil Path disciples. Run, I know them. They're purple clothes and gold clothes. These 2 have even killed peak out of body stage powerhouses. Run. These Devil Dao disciples ran in all directions at once, while the golden-colored giant ape chased after them, harvesting the lives of one Devil Dao disciple after another. While that purple-clothed youth was in place, he began to continuously swing his sword towards the void in front of him, and with each swing, he tore out spatial cracks tens of feet in size. Quake of Force is 16 Dao. The purple-clothed youth was Kangchon, he coldly shouted. The blood saber's light flashed. A deafening muffled hum then came to mind. His hand holding the blood saber began to tremble. It was the 16 channels of positive and negative forces impacting each other's recoil. Must hold on. Kangchon gritted his teeth, holding the blood blade in a death grip, slowly slashing towards the front boom. Suddenly, there was an explosive sound, and the blood knife came out of his hand, shocking Kangchon and causing him to spray blood from his mouth. What a terrifying power. Fortunately, I only used 1/10 of my power. Otherwise, I was bound to be traumatized this time. It seems that 8 Dao is my limit. It will take some time to break through 16 Dao. Kangchon wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth and secretly thought. It had been more than half a year since he entered the Wind and Cloud continent. And in these half a year, without Wang Tao and the others slowing him down, he and Little Gold were very fast, almost strolling through half of the eastern battlefield, hunting and killing hundreds of exit in trance stage Devil Dao powerhouses, and tens of thousands of Yuaning stage Devil Dao powerhouses. And during these half a year, the disciples of the East Battlefield's righteous and devilish paths knew that there were 2 solitary strong men who could not be messed with. One of them was dressed in purple and the other in gold. 8 parts is not bad, with my current strength, under the amplitude of the force-shocking 8 parts. I'm afraid that an out-of-body stage Seal Emperor powerhouse would be injured. Kangchon's eyes were bright as he put away his blood sword and waited in place for Little Gold to return. After comprehending the quake of force, he had one more stance that would be of no small use when dealing with enemies. After having this stance, When Little Gold breaks through the outbreeding stage, he will be able to head to the Land of Kings. Kang Chon thought in his heart. Within these half a year, not only had he made rapid progress above Forcequake, Little Gold had also finally comprehended the last 10% of his intent and was ready to advance to the outbreeding stage at any time. This time, they were then prepared to go back, firstly, to exchange military honors, and secondly, to allow Little Gold to break through the outbreeding stage. The next time they traveled to the battlefield of righteousness and evil, their goal was the Land of Kings. If it was someone else, going to the Land of Kings with a cultivation of the 9th level of the Yuanying stage was simply looking for death. But Kang Chon's strength had nothing to do with cultivation. Although his cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Yuanying stage, his strength had already reached the level of the Seal King at the outbreeding stage. If coupled with Kang Chon hegemonic blood's strongest battle state and the amplitude of Force's shocking 8 paths, then Kang Chon had the confidence to fight with an outbreeding stage Seal King powerhouse. In addition, Little Gold was now invincible at the Yuanying stage, which was equivalent to the late outbreeding stage, and his strength was close to the peak of the outbreeding stage after berserking. If he waited for Little Gold to break through the outbreeding stage this time, then his strength would be able to at least reach the outbreeding stage Seal King level, or even close to Seal Emperor. In that case, when they joined forces, they would be able to roam even in the Land of Kings. "Brother, I'm back. Those brats ran fast and only killed a third of them." Kang Chon suddenly raised his head and looked into the distance. A smile suddenly appeared in his eyes, only to see a golden figure coming at great speed in the distant void. It was none other than Little Gold. "All right, it's time for us to return to the base. After you break through the outbreeding stage this time, we'll head to the King's Land." Kang Chon laughed. "Oh yeah." Little Gold immediately roared with excitement at the words. He was already tired of staying in this wind cloud continent. According to his words, it was simply not challenging at all to train here, and it was rare to find even a single outbreeding stage King Sealer powerhouse. 9 dragons trapping and killing formation. Within the large formation, the huge face once again appeared in front of Jin San Xiao and the others. "Now, can you answer my question?" Windlass looked at Jin San Xiao coldly, his eyes flashing with an icy light. "Ask." Jin San Xiao's eyes flashed as he said indifferently. "First question. Tell me Kang Chon's current cultivation level. Remember, if I find out that you have half-heartedly lied to me, then the group of brothers behind you will live a life worse than death." Windlass said coldly. When the remaining 8 Heavenly Dao sect disciples heard this, they all looked at Windlass with a cold smile on their faces. A life worse than death. What did they have to fear? Jin San Xiao carefully sized up Windlass, and an inexplicable light appeared in his eyes as he faintly said, "There is no need for me to lie to you about this, because I don't know Kang Chon's cultivation level." When Windlass heard this, his eyes narrowed, and he said in a chilling voice, "You tricked me. You misunderstand. I haven't returned to the Heavenly Dao sect for more than a decade. When I left the Heavenly Dao sect, Kang Chon only had a Jidan stage cultivation. He entered the spirit sealing space. So many years have passed. How could I possibly know his current cultivation level?" Jin San Xiao said indifferently, but in his heart, he was thinking, could it be that Brother Kang Chon had already come out of the spirit sealing space and had come to the orthodox battlefield to feud with this person? Spirit sealing space. You actually know about spirit sealing space. It seems like you really didn't lie to me. Wu Feng's heart was delighted. The light in his eyes exploded as he continued to ask, "Few people know about the spirit sealing space. Kang Chon even told you. It seems that your relationship is extraordinary. Tell me, your relationship with him." "This is the second question." Jin San Xiao sniffed coldly. "HMPH." Windlass snorted coldly and opened a slit once again. Turning to the remaining 8 Heavenly Dao sect disciples, he droned, "Get lost." Those 8 Heavenly Tao sect disciples had already secretly communicated with Jin San Shao and ignored him when they heard him, directly turning to Jin San Shao. "Take care, brother. Take care," Jin San Shao also said heavily. "Wait." Just as the 8 Heavenly Tao sect disciples were about to leave, Windless suddenly drank. "You want to back out?" Jin San Shao's gaze narrowed as he drank coldly. "I won't go back on what I said." Windless chortled coldly, then threw a jade slip to one of the Heavenly Tao sect disciples and said, "Bring this jade slip to the heavens. If you can't do it, I will kill this fatty." Jin San Shao's heart sank when he heard this. What he was most worried about still happened. He knew what Windless was up to. The other party was trying to use him to threaten Kangtian. That Heavenly Tao sect disciple glanced at Jin San Shao and finally nodded, leaving with the other 7 Heavenly Tao sect disciples. In the entire large formation, only Jin San Shao and Wu Feng were left. Both of them fell into silence, neither of them speaking until an hour later. Wu Feng coldly said, "An hour has passed. They have left safely. Now, tell me about your relationship with Kangtian. If I answer this question and the third question, will you really let me go?" Jin San Shao asked without answering. "Answer my second question first." Windless snorted coldly. Jin San Shao was silent for a moment. After hearing this, he looked towards Windless and calmly said, "I don't have anything to do with him. It's just that he and I are from the same kingdom and the same batch of disciples that entered the Heavenly Tao sect, and he's the strongest genius amongst our batch of disciples, so I know him. That's all." A hint of mockery appeared in Windless' eyes. Did this fatty think that he could deceive him just like that? That would be too much to put him, Windless, in his eyes. Nothing more than that. Jin San Shao's eyes were flat. Then he said, "Quickly say the third question." "I have no more questions." A cold smile appeared at the corner of Windless' mouth. Jin San Shao's eyes narrowed as he heard this, and a trace of anger flashed through his gaze. "There is no third problem, so I can't let you go." Windless glanced at Jin San Shao and finally disappeared into the 9 dragons trapping and killing formation. With his departure, the formation trembled violently, and the 9 divine dragons in the sky roared in unison. Then they looked down at Jin San Shao, a pair of huge eyes flashing ferociously. "The heavens, don't ever come!" In the large formation, Jin San Shao let out a roar, and then the 9 divine dragons swooped down, piercing light that flooded the entire formation. The entire space was in turmoil. At this moment, Kangtian, who was 10,000 miles away, suddenly felt a gripping sensation. This kind of abnormality caused a bad feeling to rise in his heart. A cultivator's intuition, with the higher the cultivation level, the more accurate it is. This is the providence of the underworld. Could it be? Kangtian frowned and pondered. Not far away, Little Gold accelerated his flight and got away with it. Is this the heavenly will in the underworld, reminding me of the crisis coming? Essence flashed in Kangtian's eyes. He believed in his intuition, but he didn't believe in heaven's will, because cultivators traveled against the heavens. And it was this heaven that they were going against, especially him, Kangtian, who didn't believe in this heaven. To be able to comprehend the Tao God, Kangtian only believed in himself, which was a kind of absolute self-confidence. Come on, no matter what crisis, Kangtian followed. My path no one can block. Kangtian no longer thought much about it. His eyes regained their original confidence. At the same time, he and Little Gold sped up, traveling towards the Thousand-Blade Valley at breakneck speed. Somewhere in the jungle of the eastern battlefield, Yuan Lin led 15 disciples of the Heavenly Tao sect towards the direction of the Thousand-Blade Valley. Everyone's face was extremely heavy, and in their eyes, there was even a hint of guilt. 3 fatty can't come back, thin and unkempt eyes were filled with grief and indignation. "We have to go back alive," Yuan Lin said in a deep voice. The other Heavenly Tao sect disciples all looked at him, without Jin San Shao. Yuan Lin was their backbone. Going back alive is the only way to have the chance to avenge San Xiao's death.